Welcome back, everybody, to this very spooky edition of the podcast. I'm the real Omen underscore, and I'm here joined once again by my co-host, Obi. Obi, why are you standing in the laundry room? Why are the acoustics so good in there?
Would I scare you?
It's my secret cap. I'm always scared.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Hello. Welcome in.
I feel like it's been a minute. We did our we did the Twitch recap, and then I'm not gonna lie, life got kind of hectic for me for a little bit, so we kind of had to push back just a touch. But we are back, and we are here to tell spooky tales about really. I think the thing that I want to talk about the most is like, one, if you have any, like, how big was Halloween in your family when you were?
Oh God. Oh, I'm probably not the best person for this call.
Oh no, well, not a big deal.
No, because my parents were so against us doing like trick or treating because they didn't trust like anyone. I'm not gonna lie. They loved all of our neighbors. They loved them to death, but they didn't trust them with a 10-foot pole, let alone their child. So they didn't really leave the house that often. We sort of stayed home and watched scary, quote unquote, scary, movies and shit like that on oh God, what was it? Cartoon Network,
Disney,
Nickelodeon, Disney, yeah, the usual, right? Like, and I
like the idea that you had like these loving neighbors. And you're like, yeah, Cheryl, you can come over for the Christmas party, but don't you be putting razor blades in my kids' candy bars.
Don't you be injecting them with any weeds.
Did they put a marijuana in your trick-or-treat bag? God,
no, Mom.
Dude, for me, it was kind of strange. Like, growing up, it was always just, oh, okay, go, pick out your costume, then you go trick-or-treating and everything. And I remember when I was little, did you go trick-or-treating at all, or did it just not?
No.
You never
went.
Oh, okay.
Bro, we went trunk-or-treating.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what that is?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay,
dude.
all right.
Trunk-or-treat.
I'm glad that I'm not the only one.
Yeah, they're normally at like churches,
Yeah. You pull up to the church parking lot, and then it's just like everyone that you see at worship. There's just sort of like, here's candy from my van. Not suspicious at all.
Don't worry, I love Jesus. None of this is laced. It's all perfectly fine. Yeah, and I did like trunk or treat because, one, you're not having to walk for miles, right?
Oh yeah.
Because that was always the thing. Like, you better wear some Skechers shape-ups because you're gonna be dead if you start, walking around. You're wearing a mask. You're sweating. It's gnarly, And like, I'm from the South, right? So every October, it's always either raining or it's like 85 to 90 degrees with 80% humidity, right?
Oh,
so I'm like pulling my mask off and there's steam rising off of my face, it's always brutal. But I remember growing up, and as you got older, your bag went from like this plastic pumpkin to then the pillowcase, right? And then once you leveled up to the king size pillowcase, you knew it was probably about time to stop trick-or-treating because you're getting too old for it.
Yeah, you're able to truck a couple more miles.
Yeah,
and so
exactly.
It's about time that you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe 25 is a little too old.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember, I don't know if you have any of these around where you're from. Do you guys have Party Cities out there?
Yes, we do.
And every year you would get in the mail like the Halloween costume catalog.
The little cat, yeah.
The pamphlet, and you'd circle the one, like, I like this one, but I also like this one. Oh, there's Optimus Prime. Oh, Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat. I really like him. And it was always just that, like, picking your costume out there. It was before the days of Spirit Halloween and all of those things.
Dude.
Yeah.
Well, and you're like, when I was younger, the funny enough, you just reimagined a new idea in my brain that I haven't thought of in forever. But yeah, so like doing a little catalog and sign, I want to be this man, and then, oh, could I be Superman? Oh my God. No, for me, it was Buzz Lightyear. I was a big Buzz Lightyear fan, and I got a Buzz Lightyear fit, like a full get up. And then my parents, yeah, I got the fit, I got the drip, you know,
The buzz
and then
drip.
my parents, like, I was the kid who like went up and like passed out candy to all the kids. I felt like, what was that one movie where they're like rationing out the food and then
Oh,
little
yeah.
Timmy goes,
Can I have some more?
Misha. That's what I felt like. Because I was the controller of the candy.
Yes, dude. That brings me to something that we did. So like my friends and I, we always like we had like the neighborhood kind of crew, and uh we got to the point where we would start taking my friend's golf cart trick or treating because we didn't want to walk because we were getting really too old for this, but we were allowed to drive, right? You know, and
yeah.
and we were like, you know what? Let's, instead of going trick or treating, let's stop. We'll call that this year as like the last time. But what we'll do instead is we had a epidemic of people who would leave candy bowls out that would say like take one piece, and then you'd always have like the one teenager's like, I'm gonna ruin it for everybody, just picks up the thing and just dumps it into his bag, you know, and then walks away. So we were like, all right, we're going to teach these shitty children a lesson. So what we did, we spent like a week making this house look just Halloweened up, right?
Oh yeah.
And we set up the candy bowl with a sign behind it that said take one piece. And they had like these two big like trees that were right in front of the pillars in the front yard.
Sure.
And they were just like leafy enough where we could tuck a little video camera into one of the bushes, and we would just we fed the little camera, we buried the wire, right, and it goes like up through like a window, and it feeds to a television that's right inside the front door, right?
That's crazy.
And
you set up surveillance.
Oh yeah, and I am wearing like a full-on. For those of you who don't know, I was pretty much this big in high school, right? Like I grew early and then I just stopped, right? But I'm like 6'2", and at the time I was like 6'2", almost 300. I was a big boy, right? And I was dressed in full-on Jason Voorhees, like to the T. And my buddy, we would sit there right inside the door, and every time someone would come up to the door, and you'd have like the sweet little kids who would just take one and understand, you know, and be really kind to the other trick-or-treaters. But let me tell you, dude, every time I saw anybody that looked to be over the age of 12, I'm like getting in like that sprinter's position. You know what I mean? Like I'm in the blocks, you know, I'm just digging my feet into the clay because I know what's about to happen. These snot-nosed kids would come up and be like, take one, and then reach and just grab a handful. And the first thing that would happen is my buddy would get on the intercom and be like, take only one, you know? And then most of them would like freak out and it would be hilarious and they would put it back, you know? There's a video of this somewhere because it was recording the whole time. I gotta find it.
Oh my God.
And they would put it back and take one and they'd scurry off. They'd be like, oh, you know? But occasionally they'd like be sassy kids and would like, you know, like flip off the door and stuff, to which my buddy would fling the door open and I'd go booking it into the yard, chasing kids dressed fully as Jason Voorhees, bro. It was one of my favorite core memories because they were always like, you know, the tough kids, and they'd be like, they just learned how to curse, you know?
Oh yeah.
So they'd be saying like that, come and get me, you fucking fucker, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
And then just
You fucking dick fucker.
yeah, they hurt like a butt cheek on a stick, you know? And then like I just rip the door open, I'd take off right after him every single time. And I've never laughed so hard in my life as I did doing that night, which really, you kind of end up waterboarding yourself whenever you're laughing so hard that you're crying, but you're underneath a latex mask.
Oh,
so like, I'm like cackling and then choking and then cackling and then choking just repeatedly. But yeah, dude.
That's fucking rough, bro. But that's funny as shit.
Thank you.
I fucking love that.
Dude.
Funny enough, I've told about my tooth crack story, right?
Yes, you did. Yes.
Okay, that was from Halloween.
Really?
Yeah. I went over to a friend's house, and that was where the whole tooth crack story actually came from. Because it was the night after Halloween, and they'd fucking put all those fucking pixie sticks in a bowl,
Mm-hmm.
and then they were like, Obi, eat it. And I'm like, okay. So I munch it down. Fucking, I still will live with it to this day.
Dude, the peer pressure was crazy. Obi, eat it. Okay.
Okay. Oh no, the kid who has to take ADHD medication has to eat food. Oh no. As if my like all and my everything was basically just like absorbing and disposing of waste quickly.
Dude, I'm surprised you cracked your tooth with like the pixie sticks and everything when it's not. I always thought if I lost a tooth to a candy, it would be a now and later. You know what I'm talking about?
Later?
You have you ever had a now and later?
No, I've had now and later.
Yeah.
I actually eat it with the wrapper because it is edible.
Well,
if you didn't know.
Yeah, I know that, but like they're basically just starbursts made of concrete. Like that's all they are. Like, why?
Oh, and then leave them in like 40-degree weather. You're fucked.
You can murder
Those
somebody.
things you could murder.
Yeah.
I could load that into the barrel of like a blunderbuss, and it would just eradicate whatever was on the other side.
Dude, I don't. Who made now and laters and then tried the final product and was like, yeah, this is good.
I don't even know who makes now and laters. That's how fucking like confusing they are. You don't even know who makes this shit.
And who's the market? Who are we marketing? People with
there's no market because they don't do marketing.
Halloween.
They do nothing.
Halloween's the only market. That's the only time I've ever seen anybody receive now and laters. Is it's like the candy no one wants in the multi-pack. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And but I will say I do enjoy them. They are pretty nice, especially when you give them a little bit of like it's like you roll them up in your hand and then you get them nice and warm. Oh, and then
Okay,
sorry, I'm just creaming at the thought.
See, I get that. I get the creaming. But if you have to take steps for your candy to be edible, it should not be a candy, in my personal humble opinion.
Fair enough.
And the fact that they call them now and laters, because they know you're not eating that thing within 3 to 5 business days. It's going to take you a full week to consume a now and later. Like,
well, that's what's in the name is you chew on it now and then you digest it later.
You chew on it now, and then you go to the dentist later to get the root canal for the tooth that you've just demolished on this candy bar. But I also, so one thing I wanted to talk about today was there's always things that we encounter in life growing up, whether it be in movies or like books or, television,
Sure.
that are creepy that don't necessarily mean to be. And I would like to maybe go into if you have any of those.
Give me some examples of what you mean by that.
Okay. So it doesn't even have to be like a character. It can be a scenario. I might have actually talked about this before, but when I was a kid, I watched Nickelodeon as a child does, right? And one of my favorite shows was Rugrats.
Oh, yeah.
Right? There was an episode of Rugrats where there was like a rumor that was going around where one of the kids went like missing, but he was just like sick, But they were like, oh, he was taking a bath and he like went down the drain of the bathtub. Right? Yeah.
What?
Yes, I promise this exists. And I'm not sure they still run this episode anymore, but I promise this exists. And the entire thing was like the other children going to like leaps and bounds to not take a bath because they were afraid they were going to get sucked down the drain and never be heard from again.
Oh, fuck.
Yes.
My brain, it did that thing where you're just like...
Yeah.
Like,
do you
like
remember
the
that?
light bulb just went, I do remember that. Holy shit.
Yes.
No, because I used to watch it all the time, man. And now that I'm remembering it, I remember seeing
the drain
child go circling in like a typhoon.
Yes.
Basically.
Dude.
Like a whirlpool.
That scarred me when I was a child. I thought that was the scariest shit ever. And my parents were like freaking out because they would be like, oh, it's bath time. And I was like 3-4 years old. And, I was like, they were like, "Oh, it's bath time," and I would like parkour away from them. Like I would like jump over the couch, you know. I was waiting for the guy to be like, "My God, it's Jason Baby," you know, and but it would just be ridiculous, and they were like, "What the hell's going on? There's got to be some reason for this." So like I'm like crying at this point because I don't want to get sucked down the drain. I don't want to become a sewer monster, you know. And you know, I told them the situation. I've never seen my mother that upset, right? And she was like, "I cannot believe they would put something like that," like, you know, kind of a little bit of helicopter parenting, maybe, you know, and everything. I think I seem to recall that she like wrote a letter to Nickelodeon.
No way.
I believe she did. Which I love my mom, and she was looking out for me. I appreciate that. But like, dude, that scared the hell out of me. And that's just a situation. That's not even like a character in movies or films. Most of the time for me it was situations. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, now that you bring it up, funny enough, the Rugrats movie, the original one, do you remember the monkey scene?
Yes.
Yeah, where they get lost in the forest and then a bunch of the zoo monkey, or I think it was carnival monkeys.
Yes.
Yeah, and they started like kidnapping the children.
Yes.
And like started playing with them and things like that. What freaked me out the most is that I couldn't go to zoos anymore because I fucking didn't want zoo monkeys to come and take me and start like ripping my arms apart, basically. That's what my brain thought.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't go to zoos. I never told my parents about that. That was probably the only one that I could think of at the moment. We're gonna bounce back and forth, obviously, and
see, that's the interesting thing. I'm starting to now wonder what the Rugrats were doing as far as like they were sitting around the writers' table. They were like, "All right, Johnson, how are we going? How are we going to scar? Yeah, I know. How are we going to scar the youth of America this week?" And he's like, Let's have a bunch of monkeys kidnap a bunch of kids, and not just monkeys, they're going to be carnival monkeys, because not only does it have to be monkeys, it has to be carnies, too. They're going to also be super creepy, you know? Dude, I remember that movie, and I remember watching it over and over again on, like, the orange VHS tape.
Stop. Yes. Yeah. I still have it to this day. It sits at my parents' house.
No way.
Yeah, with the cover and everything. I still have it.
Dude, I don't even think I have it anymore. I'm sure we probably threw that out when like we moved, because that was
oh my
so
God.
long ago.
I just remembered I stole a VHS at one point from the library.
What? Okay, did you steal it knowingly, or were you like just didn't return it?
I checked it out.
Okay.
And then they were like, just return, you know, in a week and we'll be all cool. And I was like, oh, cool. Awesome.
20 years later.
So I may have swapped the box. I didn't do it on purpose.
Okay.
It was because I was rewinding one of them and I put it in the wrong case.
Gotcha.
That is the reason why. But I couldn't tell my parents. I couldn't. They would be so fucking mad at me. So I was just said, it's just here. I don't know. And
that's what
it
I
was the green. The only reason I think about it is because it was a green VHS kit tape versus those standard black VHS tapes that we all knew. And that reminded me from the fucking Rugrats. That's crazy, dude. Oh, no, I still feel guilty about it.
That's when you
can
know
hear the remorse too.
That's when you know Obi's a really good guy. He really feels bad about accidentally not returning a movie to a library. Bro, I actually did a similar thing, but mine was with like back when Netflix was actually, they would send you discs in the mail.
Oh yeah.
They sent us, oh, I can't remember what it was. It was like the Parent Trap or something, like the Lindsay Lohan Parent Trap movie.
Oh, that's a good one.
It is a really solid film. And like we watched it, we're like, okay, we'll return it, because we had like the list of the other things, because the process was they would send you the film, you'd watch it, you'd send it back, they'd send you the next one. And it was not long after that they switched to like streaming, and we're like, oh, well, we'll just watch things on there, and we'll get around to returning the disc. And after we moved out of like the last house that we were in, I remember seeing that and I was like, oh no, this late fee is going to be crazy. It's like 10 years overdue, you know? Like it was definitely a little past the date of when we were supposed to return it. Just a little bit.
Okay. I just looked it up. I can't tell you this story because the company is still in. Well, I can tell you this company or the story. I don't think I can tell you the company.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
Because they still are in business. I didn't know this. It was an early 2000s thing. I'm going to type it to you here real quick. Hold on.
I bet I know what you're about to say.
Do you remember this company?
Yes, I do.
So I'm not going to say the name of the company.
They're still around?
But I may have. They are still around. They are still around. They're still operating. Which I'm like, that's fucking crazy. Like everything's digital nowadays. How do you even do that?
Yeah.
You know. But there was a company that gave out games to people, just like Netflix did. It was same model. Send you a game, you would send a game back.
Yes.
Well, we found a loophole. So apparently when they send the disc, the disc has like a QR code or like a bar code or something like that that you have to scan, and it sits on the top of the disc, right? Well, we would take a heat gun.
Stop.
And
Obi. I take back the nice thing I said about the library, dude. This is tampering. Now I know why you don't want to say the name of the company.
I only did it for Shadow the Hedgehog. It was the only game I wanted. I loved that game so much.
Shadow's my ride or die.
It's my ride or die.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I only did it once, but it was because I wanted Shadow the Hedgehog. I skipped school the next day and I played it, and my mom got mad at me and she said, "Go to bed, you're sick." And I was like, "No, I want to play the game."
Well, go ahead and walk through your sick, twisted process for the listeners.
But I would take the QR code or the barcode and essentially transfer it to one of the discs that my parents had that were just like, because we had like burn discs, right?
Yeah.
And you would burn videos or whatever. We had family videos and stuff like that, so we burnt them a lot, right? Well, you just put that shit on the top and then fucking send it back to them, and then whenever they're scanning, the only way that they would do it is they wouldn't check the disc. They would just scan the barcode and throw it in the pile of like returns.
Yes.
That was it. And so that was our workaround.
Dude, there's no accidentally doing that one.
No, that was on purpose, and I'm a little shit for that one, so I'm at least gonna be honest.
Shadow the Hedgehog, and it made it worth it in the end.
It did. I actually enjoyed the fuck out of that game. I thought it was really good. For people that shit on that game, that's completely understandable. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna lie, it's actually genius.
I mean, I do my best to be a little shit every once in a while in my life.
Dude, I love it. Oh my gosh.
Look, you gotta find ways, man, to get around in this world, and sometimes you have to be Aladdin and just take from the rich and give to the poor.
Now I know why you didn't want to say the company. They're gonna come for you.
Me, I'm the poor.
And give to them myself.
I don't think they would come after me for a $60 game back in 2000.
No, could you imagine the pettiness? If like
that'd be so petty. And they go like, they put like a cease and desist on this video.
It would be really funny. I'm not gonna lie. Like it'd be fucked, but it'd be really funny. Actually, this just popped in my head because the entire time I've been also trying to think of like more things that either shouldn't have been scary or were supposed to be mildly scary, but ended up just being nightmare horror fuel. Did you ever see the movie Mac and Me?
Mac and Me? Hold on.
Mac and Me. It was basically, it came out like right after E.T., and they tried to capitalize on that same kind of vibe of an alien, finding just a child.
Oh, God.
Yes.
What the hell is that? What is this deformed child-looking puppet? And why does it have like a perfect like butthole mouth.
Yes, it has DSLs really bad. Yeah.
Dude, what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bro's puckering for something, that's for sure.
I feel like they were designing, so it's a very low budget movie. I feel like when they were designing this creature, they were like, look, we're only gonna make it once and this film's gonna bomb. So we need it to have multiple purposes. And then the one guy who was smoking Newports in the corner, and he walks in and he goes, we'll give it a pretty mouth.
Oh my god, dude.
It is horror fuel.
It's the Coke bottle eye shape that really is throwing me for a fucking spinner, bud.
There is a clip that went really popular. Was it Conan O'Brien, I think? Yes. No, it was every time Paul Rudd would go on to either Conan O'Brien or The Late Night, one or the other. And he would be promoting a movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every time he'd talk up the movie, and then they do the thing where they show the clip of the movie that they're promoting.
Mm-hmm.
He would show a clip from Mac and Me every time, just to prank Jimmy Fallon or whoever it was. And it was a clip of... So one of the kids in the movie's in a wheelchair, okay?
Stop, dude.
No, just trust. I'm going to send you the clip. Because I guarantee you it's out there.
All right.
It's, for our listeners, it is a kid in a wheelchair going 60 miles an hour, down a hill, unable to stop. And he's like, no brakes, oh no. And then it hits a cliff and the kid goes sailing into a lake after a 40-foot drop, right? And he's screaming the whole way. And the clip ends with this alien child sitting up and going, huh? It's the craziest fucking thing out of context. Hang on. Mac and Me cliff scene. It's the very first thing that pops up if you search on YouTube. Here it is. Here it is. Okay.
All that's reminding me of is the one fucking movie. Oh god, I can't remember the name of it, but there's a funny movie where or not a funny movie, it was a serious movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he was riding a motorcycle, it looked like in California.
Mm-hmm.
And he's heading down this way with a cigar in mouth, and all of a sudden you see a guy just chuck his dog into the fucking ocean.
Why do I think I know that? What is that from?
You can find it for
I can I can visualize the thing. But by the way, watch that clip real quick. I sent it to you in DMs. I want your reaction to this clip.
All right, let's pull this shit up. Yeah. This is live reaction, by the way, chat. Oh. Where do you think you're going, little girl? You're not chasing a man. Oh my god. That's not real. What are you? What is that thing? Is that the thing we've been looking at?
That's the thing that I am horrified of. Bro, I saw that thing in my nightmares.
It popped up out of nowhere, just fucking, it was a spawn point for it.
That is the exact clip that Paul Rudd shows every time he goes on one of these clips. And you can find up a compilation of the times he's shown it, in interviews. It's so funny. It's one of my favorite clips. It's hilarious. And it's so just out there.
Fucking crazy, dude.
But that little creature terrifies me.
Hey, you know what? I completely understand, man. And to be honest, I feel like that was short enough of a clip. Can we get a timestamp on that? I'll import it if you want.
Yeah. We're at 29 minutes and 8 seconds. So you probably have to go back 2 minutes or so. But it's around that time if you want to put that clip in.
Yeah.
Dude, oh my gosh.
I'll put the clip in for the viewers. They can fucking enjoy that along with me. Oh my god. Well, I'm trying to think of things that were scary, but not intentionally scary.
Yeah. Which I mean,
oh god.
If you want to just go with things that scared you, that's fine too.
Do you want to know? I just thought about this. Do you remember the scene with from Iron Giant? Do you remember the scene where they were about to drop a nuke? That scared the shit out of me because I was so immersed into that movie that I was like, am I about to get nuked?
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, buddy,
and that's
no.
Dude, I actually was terrified to go to bed because I was afraid that I was gonna look outside and there was just gonna be a white line just going straight down into the core of the earth.
Oh my god.
That actually scared the piss out of me. But then I was like, no, Iron Giant saved us. Thank you, Iron Giant.
Man, that movie, I think I watched it once.
Oh man, it's one you gotta watch again.
It's a great movie. It's really, really good. But the ending breaks my heart. I can't watch it. Like
Oh yeah.
It's so tough, dude. Like I'm one of those people, I will watch sad movies one time. Because I just can't watch a bunch of sad movies. Like the movie Green Mile, great movie, fantastic movie. I cannot watch that film again. I've seen it once. I know it. I know it's great, but I don't need to see it again. Like it broke my heart.
Yeah. I don't need another tear jerking session.
Yeah, I need a different jerking session. Anyway, I got another one for the uncanny valley of things that aren't supposed to be creepy but totally are. Thomas the Tank Engine.
I hate you.
I don't even need to explain. Come on.
That was my childhood. How dare you?
I'm sorry, your childhood was so just born from Satan himself.
No. You look at him. He's got such a look. All right, let me do this.
I know what he looks like.
Well, I want you to no. I have to look at him.
Because
I need to see if what my brain is processing is the same character. Hold up. Yeah, and he's fucking juggling around, getting all the people their stuff, and doing deliveries, and then they have that one song. It's like gone fishing, do 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 do, gone fishing, do 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 do. Yeah, that kind of shit, bro.
I mean, I get you, but okay, I'm gonna send you a picture. You tell me this does not bore into your soul and just make you uneasy.
All right, I'm watching.
We can share this image with the class if you want to.
That's not original Thomas. Is it?
Bro, it's enough of Thomas.
It's a little too real. I liked when they were doing the funny faces. Also, just for funnies, that's Thomas the Tank as well. That's from the uncut season where he got drafted into Vietnam. Yeah. The Sherman World War II tank.
Does Thomas have to nuke a bitch?
Very fitting. But no, I love Thomas the Tank. I get it because now I'm looking at it and there's this picture. Again, we're gonna timestamp this one just so that way we can creep out the viewers as well.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, he's giving side eye. He knows where the bodies are buried. You know what I mean?
It's I know what you're doing there, Omen.
Please don't give him that voice.
I'm looking at you, Omen.
Wait a minute, I might be changing my tone on Thomas the Tank. Maybe, what does that exhaust pipe do?
Why am I getting aroused?
Oh my goodness.
No apparent reason.
Is it just
for
steam?
A locomotive?
Is it just steam that comes out of there, or is there other things?
No, different type of white powder. No, I get that. I don't know. I feel like Thomas was one of those that I'm I don't know. I probably could have lived without Thomas, but granted, he's the reason I was even involved in transportation and shit like that. Like there was planes, and then the fucking Cars movie came out, and I was all about that shit. I was like, fuck yeah, Lightning McQueen. He's like a douche, but a cool douche. I was all about it.
He was like the Maverick, He was an asshole, but he was good at what he does.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Now I'm thinking of Disney movies,
and it could be things that are just regular scary, too. Just things that really got you.
If you want regular scary, the regular scary was we talked about this, The Exorcist.
Yes.
The original Exorcist scared the ever-loving piss out of me
Mhm.
because growing up, I was a Christian child.
Mhm.
You know, grew up in a Christian home and
Yeah.
went to church, all that shit. One of the things that they did talk about was like possessions, demonic shit. And
Mhm.
I'm like, don't know how I feel about that,
Yep.
but it feels really wrong. Like, don't want to even worry about that. That can get the fuck out the right door, right?
Yes.
Like, well, I watched that movie in my late teens. I want to say like about 18, 19.
Mhm.
And yeah, scared the fuck out of me because the bed scene alone was
Oh,
enough
yeah.
to like fucking send me. I was sitting there in a panic attack for like, I don't even know, like the rest of the movie probably.
Yeah, I fully get that, dude. I can't do religious horror either because I had a very similar thing. Like
Mhm.
I just could not watch that stuff. The only thing that kind of took me out of it, because I remember that there was also a scene before, I think it was like early in the film, where like she comes downstairs and like pisses herself.
Mhm.
Remember that?
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, and when I saw that, I was just like, I thought to myself, all over my floor. Like that's just what popped into my mind. And I was like, "You're grounded. Go to bed. No supper for you." You know, and that kind of took
If
me out
I
of it a little
did
bit.
that, I would receive the spanking of a lifetime.
Yeah, like I just, man, I can't do the religious horror stuff. Nah. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. Really taters my tots. I'm not about it.
You know, it really hashes my browns. Um, did you ever watch Goosebumps?
Oh fuck! Stop.
Dude, dude,
Those were creepy.
thank
Creepy
you.
as fuck. And if someone says that they're not creepy, you grew up with demented shit, and I don't trust you.
No, you're just a liar. You're just a
You're
liar. Yes. There's
full blown, pitch blown liar.
you're a
I can't
liar.
believe it.
You don't tell the truth. You're not honest. You're fake news. You're fake. You know. Um,
Exactly.
dude, Goosebumps was not meant for children. I don't care what people say.
No.
Like,
Mm-mm.
there was one. We only had one VHS of Goosebumps, right?
Okay.
And to me, we just so happened to get the scariest one. And I'm not sure if did you watch it like a lot or no?
I watched it a lot because they had marathons running on Cartoon Network.
Yeah. The one
Mm.
that I remember most was the one where this girl wanted to go to a Halloween party or something, and she went
Mhm.
into this like cursed mask shop.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
yeah.
I know exactly what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
And she like puts on this like green goblin looking
Mhm.
mask, and then
She
it
can't like fucking
she can't take it off.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
stuck to her face, and then
Mhm.
like as the movie or as the episode goes on, like she becomes more and more the creature until like it takes over her entire body. Dude, let me tell you, that Halloween when I first saw that, I went as Superman because your boy was not wearing a mask after looking at that shit. Nay, nay,
Oh,
Satan.
No.
That is
No,
not
you-
happening.
I was able to find it. It is called Goosebumps: The Haunted Mask.
Yes, dude.
Mhm.
To this day,
Um,
I probably still couldn't watch it. I probably could not watch that again.
I feel like that one was really rough.
Mm-hmm.
The two that I couldn't get over. Okay, and this is gonna I'm gonna out myself, aren't I? I hate dolls. I hate puppets. I hate all those things. And do you
Mhm.
want to know what my sister always had?
Oh
Is
no.
those American what were they
American
called?
Girl dolls?
American Girl dolls. Thank you.
Yeah.
She had those and they sat on the top of her like little shelf, and whenever I went into her room and it was dark as fuck in there,
Mhm.
I was like, you better not
Mhm.
fuck with me. I have a fucking like plastic bat and I will beat you to death.
Mhm.
Like, I was so scared of them, and it was because of Slappy from Goosebumps.
Yes.
That
Oh my.
little fucker, dude. The one who looks like what is that one comedian? The British
the-
comedian.
Oh, like the Rowan Atkinson looks like Mr. Bean.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly who it looks like. Yeah.
Mhm.
100%. I like that your sister put the dolls at a vantage point, so they're always like looking down on you. You know?
Oh yeah, and the worst part is that their eyes were always like, because they did the little like moving blink thing, like if you moved them too much, and that shit scared the fuck out of me because I'm like, you're possessed. I don't like you.
Yeah.
I ended up, oh, I'm not telling that story. That one's for like if we ever do a Patreon.
Oh really? Oh okay.
Yeah. This is a really rough story, but I'm not gonna tell it. If we have a Patreon at some point, I will tell that story. And
okay, got you.
And yeah, but no, I think it was that one, and then do you remember the wolf one where they started turning into dogs or something like that?
I think so. Was that the one where they were at like a camp or something?
It might have been. I think it was a kid that went up into a fucking, like he went up into something, and like
up into the mountains.
No, it was like the what do you call it? The top of a house. What do you call that?
The roof?
Attic.
Oh.
He went into the attic and then he fucking had some shit happen, and then he ended up starting to develop like patches of like fur on his skin.
It's starting
he like starts shaving, and then it would grow back like Santa Claus from the
Santa Claus
movie. Yeah, from the Santa Claus, the amazing movie. And no, and then like he finds out that like the whole family's technically dog, and that he's just now learning to become a dog. And I'm like, is that gonna happen to me? Am I just gonna become dog? Like, is that it? Do I just evolve into dog now? Like, it scared the fuck out of me, dude.
Understandable. Like I the more you talked about it, the more I recalled it. Yeah, I remember seeing that one. Dude, and it was always like you would then be afraid. Like for me, I was afraid of masks after I saw that one episode. Like you're probably afraid of getting like bit by dogs and stuff, you know, which is normal thing. Everybody should be afraid of that.
And I did get bit by a dog. I did.
Oh, so
it was my neighbor's dog who hated the fuck out of me for some goddamn reason. Every time I would come by, I was like, hi. The dog's name was Sadie. I was like, hi, Sadie, hi. And I would just wave to her. And then one day she finally let me like pet her, but her ears were back. So she was like on the guard. And I was just like, look, I'm just trying to be nice. I promise you I'm not going to hurt you. And then she does this number where she like veered her head to the side and then went up and bit my hand. Ooh. And the neighbors were like scared that my parents were going to sue. And I was like, no, we're not going to sue you, but that fucking hurt. Like, don't have your dog do that again. And they ended up leashing her after that. And,
good.
Yeah.
Like if you know your dog's got a biting problem, keep her on a leash. Like it's not. Come on now.
I wasn't the only kid that got bit that year too, so it was like
it's a problem.
Yeah, it was a problem. So I'm glad that they at least took the necessary precautions moving forward.
You know, that takes me to a story that happened just last week. I'm pretty sure I have a guy who's got an imaginary dog that lives in my neighborhood. Because I see the look you just gave me. Like what? So I was going for a run through my neighborhood, and this dude comes out into the yard, and I'm running like on the side of the road, like the side of the neighborhood street. There's no sidewalks or anything that like cut through right there. And like this dude comes out into the grass, and he's like waving me down, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I pull my headphones out, and he looks at me and he goes, "The dog's harmless." And I go, oh. I'm looking around. There's no dog. There's no dog. I'm like, do you have expired hot dogs, sir? Like, is there something? I'm not sure it's harmless.
Are you warning me of mold? I seem to have a problem with that.
Okay. First of all, it's not a problem. I'm perfectly fine.
That's true.
I can stop eating mold anytime I want. But like, I'm looking around. There's no dog. And I go, oh, okay, no worries. He goes, yeah. I'm like, all right. And I just keep on going.
Yep.
Dude, I'm like, what? And I've gone by since then. Still no dog. I'm looking for this dog every time I go by his house now, just to see if it's real, or if he's just seeing things. So don't trick or treat in my neighborhood. I think this guy might sick his imaginary dog on you.
Yeah. No, do you remember back in the 90s whenever we had those leashes that were technically like taut. They were very uh like fixed to place, and then they had a little leash, a little collar at the bottom, and people were like fake walking dogs and shit like that.
Oh
You
yeah.
remember that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad I'm not having a hallucination or something.
Yeah, the invisible dog.
But I remember those. Fucking yeah, maybe he just has one of those.
Yeah,
You know?
maybe it's like chained to the tree, and it's just I didn't see it, and it's just like a leash, just like on the tree. You know,
It's just taut as fuck,
Yeah.
like sitting and waiting.
I swear Casper's real. I swear I chained him up out there this morning. The only place I ever saw where you could buy those invisible dog things was like the souvenir shop at a Cracker Barrel. You know?
Oh yeah, no, you couldn't get them anywhere
No,
else.
that
I
was
feel
it.
like Cracker Barrel has just like a treasure trove of like useless shit
Mm-hmm.
that like no one's gonna. They'll use it like once. Like I remember there was my parents ended up getting us these pop cap guns. Yeah, those got taken away in like 2 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Because every single time that they would pop into our rooms or even pass by our rooms, all they would hear is just pop, 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 pop. And we're just like, we're having too much fun. You guys bought them for us for a reason.
Yeah.
And then and then my even with those, they were still like, don't point it at each other. And I'm like, okay, I understand. We're trying to understand. Like, I'm a competent human at this point. I was just like, mother, father, please. I know the difference between a real and imaginary. I promise. Granted, I respect what they were saying, because I would do the same thing with my kids if at some point in the future. I want them to, if they're ever going to handle something that resembles a firearm, I don't want them to handle a firearm the same way.
Exactly.
So I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
No, totally. I remember those pop guns. The other two things that I remember most from those stores. One, speaking of useless thing, you can only buy these here, I think. Do you remember Necco wafers? Hey kids.
I watched the Chosen video recently.
Oh yeah.
What, the Necker wafers?
He brought it back into the mainstream. Yeah. Dude, hey kids, you want to eat chalk that vaguely has flavor?
Yeah. It's like if Flavor had taken a small fart on it and just like.
It's like if LaCroix was a candy.
Exactly. And to be honest, I didn't hate it. It wasn't bad. I just felt like I needed to drink like 4 glasses of water after I finished them, because they drained every bit out of my body.
Yes, and let's face it, Sweet Tarts did it better. Like when they came out,
always did it better.
Necco wafers were a thing of the past.
They just take a bite and they're like, "Wow, that fucking sucks.
This is terrible.
This is the worst thing in the world."
Okay, so if we're having I think I've kind of exhausted all of my like things that really spooked me that weren't necessarily spooky.
Okay.
So I wanna ask you this. So you said you watched Goosebumps. Are you a big horror movie person?
I am, actually.
Okay, so am I.
I've been so desensitized at this point that I'm like, I'll watch anything, man. As long as it's not like the religious, like poltergeist kind of shit. I really don't fuck with those. I will watch them, but I don't fuck with them.
I'm very much the same way. Though here's the weird thing, right? Both my parents, super Christian, like Southern Baptist, right? One of my mom's favorite movies, Poltergeist.
Really?
Don't know how that happened. No idea. It makes no sense to me.
I'd be worried.
But here's we're gonna go dig up a Native American burial ground and build a house on it. No,
Jesus Christ,
dude. So here's a good question then. Give me, and I'm gonna want to run these down like off the dome.
Okay.
Top 5 horror movies.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Like that actually scared me, or that I enjoyed?
It could be either or. Like you could just rank them in your favorite,
Fuck.
Wait, I'll go.
I,
I'll go
I
first if you want.
yeah, because I have one, but I'm not gonna say that it's number one.
Okay, so I think I'll probably end up going like 5, 4, 3, 2, and we can alternate if you want to do that.
That'd be good, so we can actually talk about them.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go 5 for me, and this might be something that most people would probably say should be higher. But number 5 for me is the original Halloween.
Okay.
With Michael Myers.
Yeah. I feel like it was super scary because they shot it in like an actual neighborhood, and it felt like a legitimate thing that could happen, right? Versus a lot of these other ones like fucking even Chucky, fucking Child's Play.
Oh yeah.
Very like you can see it possibly happening, kind of a thing, as a child at least.
Definitely. And the thing that got me, well, first off, that was Jamie Lee Curtis's first movie as well. Like,
is it really?
It is, and she crushed it, and then became known as like the Scream Queen and that whole thing. And Halloween's also probably one of my favorite franchises, but I gotta put the original in the top 5. It just has to go there.
That's fair.
The thing that I think is great, because it's not the most scary. It's really not. There's like 3 people die in it. It's more suspense than it is like, There's a few things that I love about it. One being the fact that the mask is actually just a mask of William Shatner.
Is it really?
I shit you not, because they were like,
what?
Yes, they wanted just a shape. And back in the day, they had like a Star Trek William Shatner mask that you could buy. And remember, this movie was made for like 15 grand. Like, it was not made for much money at all.
No,
so they just bought a Halloween mask. They cut the eye holes a little bit bigger and then just painted the face white. That's all they did. But it's just William Shatner's face just murking people. Right?
That's fucking funny as fuck.
The
all
second
I could
thing
see is just like all I could think of is the fucking William Shatner. Yes, die now.
I'm gonna stab you in the face. Just in the face. We're gonna go. I'm gonna pin you against the wall and stab you in the intestines. The other thing that I loved about it was the entire time Donald Pleasance, who plays Professor Loomis, I think is his name, he was like, he's an accomplished actor. He played like a villain in James Bond, and he's just an incredible actor. He's like arguing with a police officer, like, we need to find Michael. He's gonna kill again. There's nothing behind his eyes. He's got the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. They're talking about needing to find him. And they're like standing on a curb, and in the background, he drives by.
No way.
He just drives. I shit you not. He drives by in like the stolen car, like just right back. Like, oh, there he is, and he's like looking into the camera, like looking for him. It's so funny.
Oh,
but that's.
I feel like old comedy, like it just hits differently.
Oh yeah.
Most people would be like, that's like slapstick nowadays. But I'm like, no, come on. You have to enjoy those kind of things, because it's like they were low budget and they were like, we still want to get a gaff in there every once in a while, so.
And I'm not entirely sure it was supposed to be like a gaff. I think the whole idea was it to be like, just turn around. He's right behind you. He's right there. You can save lives. But it just like, it's very funny when you watch it, because you just see the white face sitting in the car. And I just imagine him listening to like the Beach Boys,
Oh yeah, he's just like down to Kokomo, we'll take it fast if you take it slow.
Just imagine he's head nodding, wrapping his fingers on the steering wheel,
I wish that I want 1 year whenever both of us are in the same, state and we're doing Halloween and shit. I want both of us to wear like Scream and fucking
the Michael Myers.
The Michael Myers, and then just fucking go down the
highway. The Night of the Rock, Night of the Roxbury or whatever it is, where they're all like nodding their head. I want somebody to edit that clip, because he's like, Michael's coming across the intersection, and then he turns behind him and goes by. I want somebody to edit it where as he gets closer, you hear the Beach Boys in the car as he drives by. Just, Jamaica. It just fades out.
Give me like an hour in CapCut and I'll make it happen.
So what's your number 5, man? Let's get going.
All right, number 5. God damn.
I put you on the spot.
Yeah. I have one in my brain, for sure. But I'm gonna go with just like a nice easy icebreaker. World War Z.
Ooh.
I actually really enjoyed that one. It was either gonna be World War Z or As Above, So Below. Those two I'd put in like the 5 category. I feel like I have grown up watching found footage horror movies, and those are, above all else, that is my favorite sub genre of like cult classics and things like that.
Okay.
But no, I would say As Above, So Below will be number 5. We'll just put it at that one. Scared the piss out of me because when I'm watching it, I was watching it in an IMAX theater, and that shit was loud as fuck. Whenever they're like having things slam in front of the camera, or a person gets nabbed, or the ending scene, spoilers, the ending scene where the fucker just takes off in the wind, and I'm like, this is, what the fuck? It's so loud, and that's what was scaring me. But I enjoyed it. I think that I would say it was one of those that I enjoyed. I didn't have to be scared by.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. This actually takes me back, because I was talking about how we were talking about how religious horror is the one thing that neither of us can really mess with. There's another, and that is like the claustrophobic horror. I cannot, like, As Above, So Below, I struggled with that movie. That one, and what's the other one where like the girl and her friends go like cave diving? Do you remember the one I'm talking about?
Was that not As Above, So Below?
That very well may be. Hang on.
Hold on.
As Above. I think,
yeah, because they went into like a cave, and it's like the cave underneath of France or Italy. I don't know. It's somewhere in Europe.
The catacombs underneath Paris.
Catacombs. Yeah.
Nah, the movie I'm thinking about is a different movie. Hang on. Horror movie with cave diving. Horror movie with cave diving. What is this? The Descent, bro.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my goodness. No, I can't do that. And As Above, So Below, I watched it after it came out on like streaming, because I was like, I'm not going to the theaters to see that. I don't like it. This is scary shit. I don't like it. I don't like not having a way out. That bothers me. Dude, that's a good pull. That's a really good one. World War Z might be kind of a controversial one, because a lot of people love it and a lot of people hate it.
It's one of those where I'm like, do people actually hate it, or do they hate it because it was more of a storytelling horror, right?
I think people hate it because it was supposed to be based on World War Z by Max Brooks, the author. And they kind of took the name and then made their entire own thing, right? Yeah, so I get it, but the film itself, if you judge it by what it is, it's still enjoyable, at least to me. The thing that freaked me out the most is you never see people do zombies that way, where they're just like a mindless horde, right? And they're just climbing over with no like regard for themselves. And the fact that people transform in like 5 seconds, you know?
They get bit, and then you're just, I'm here now. I'm zombie.
And I loved the way they did that in that movie, because like that one dude gets bit, and then you were watching it from the perspective of Brad Pitt and his family. And there's like a toy, like a children's learning toy, and it's like counting down. It's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and he's like changing, and then after 5 seconds, boom, he's up and going. That is brilliant. So I do enjoy that film, but I understand the issues people have with it, personally.
I'll give benefit to the doubt I did not know that it was supposed to be an adaptation of a book. And I think that overall, if you were to take it completely at face value, ignore the fact that it was supposed to be an
Oh, my
adaptation,
headphones died.
it's a pretty good movie.
Wait a second. Okay, there we go. I got you.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's still recording,
Ah.
so it didn't miss anything, but yeah, my headphones died.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, if you took it at face value, I'd say it's pretty good.
Oh,
know?
definitely. Yeah, that's kind of how I had to watch it because my brother really disliked the film, but he was a huge fan of the book. Right.
Okay.
So, you know, I hadn't read the book at the time I saw the film, so I enjoyed it. But no, I totally get that. Okay, so number 4 for me. So, if I had to say above Halloween, and this might just kind of end up being a greatest hits list, but this one's going to be a little bit more modern because I feel like this one needs to be on the list for kind of redefining the genre. The first Terrifier movie.
Terrifier.
That's the one with Art the Clown.
Oh, fuck. I've been seeing clips everywhere, dude. Art is fucking something.
Oh, yeah. And the third one just came out. And the whole idea behind these movies is they always try to go really over the top with their like kill scenes and gore. And there's always the one scene in every film that's like, yikes. Like it's the type of film that have people walking out of it because it's like, that's too much. That's really gross. And like people did it with the third one. People did it with the second one. People did it with the first one. The first one stuck with me the most because it was like the first introduction to the character. And the guy who plays him does an incredible job because he is creepy as shit. And, And there is a scene in that film where like you're following this main protagonist and her friend, and it's like a Halloween party or something that they're going to. The friend gets kidnapped by Art, right? And then later on, the main protagonist is like tied to a chair, and then Art comes out and like he pulls the curtain away, and her friend is like suspended upside down naked.
What?
Right? Yes. And he takes a hacksaw and saws through her like hot dog style. Yes. And they show all of it.
What the fuck?
It is brutal. Like it is, but you know, again, it's not really my cup of tea, like the super gory stuff, but I have to be able to at least appreciate that they're kind of pushing the envelope of what can be done in horror films. So that's why I have to put that one at my 4th. The second one, I don't even want to talk about some of the kills in there, man. And it's rough. Like if you are of age and enjoy gory movies, have at it with the Terrifier series, but don't say I didn't warn you, man. It is brutal.
Damn. I'm gonna say one, and you may not. It's not a movie, it's a series, but it was scary as fuck.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen Devilman.
Devilman. I don't think I did see that.
Okay, so the original Devilman was a anime series back in the day, and there's a part in which they start depicting like the devolve of human beings and more giving in to their sinful carnal self. And there's a scene, I'm gonna describe this. Please don't be grossed out too much. And if this is too much for you, skip forward 5 minutes and it'll probably be fine. Anyway.
Wait, one second. I like that you gave this big like preface. That there's two types of people. You're like, I really hope this doesn't bother you. And I was just like, dude, so he sawed her in half with a fucking hacksaw. I didn't even give like a warning or anything. Yeah, I probably should have done that. But no, go ahead. Sorry.
So essentially what happens is a sister's trying to run downstairs to like find her brother, and she finds her brother's head with a crossbow bolt in it on the side of the staircase. And then they proceed to like do unspeakable things to her,
Oh,
and
no.
then proceed to cut her head off right there.
Oh
And
my.
you see the whole fucking thing. Like, how old animes used to be like very, very gruesome.
Yes.
This was one of those that if you ever watch, like if I ever send you this video, watch it with caution. I
Yeah.
promise. If you need to stop it, because it is very rough to watch.
Ooh.
But I would say of all horror, like actually scared me as a kid, Devilman actually scared the fuck out of me. Like, and to think like Devilman himself was like committing insane atrocities and things like that, but it was like because that was who he's built to be now.
Yeah.
He's like a spawn of Satan, basically, but more of like an anti-hero. If you want to put him in a category, I should say.
Satan, that good old anti-hero,
Well, no different than Spawn.
That's true. Spawn definitely,
because
or Ghost Rider.
Spawn is very, and Ghost Rider, very anti-hero, but still committing justice for whatever deity it is that they're attuned to.
Yeah, no, I get you. Yeah, that's a good pull. I think I've seen bits because what you're describing sounds familiar. I just don't think I knew the name. The one that pops into my mind when I think of actually scared me and why I'm going to put it probably at number 3. Put it this way. I, to this day, cannot go watch this movie again. And it's really going to sound silly because it's not considered a movie that is like super bad by any stretch of the imagination. The 1980s version of the movie The Blob.
Oh, fuck.
Did you see that
I know
film?
what you're talking about. Yes,
Bro,
I did.
The thing that made it worse in that one, because like there was an original Blob movie that came out in like the 50s or the 60s, and really all that movie was the art department pumping gel through miniature sets, and people running screaming out of movie theaters. Like that was pretty much it. But the 1980s version, when somebody got, like you would see it eating them from the inside. They'd be like trying to get out of the blob and it's just like dissolving them in this like translucent fluid. It was gross. Like it was pretty rough. And they would always have it like come in around like door like cracks, you know what I mean? Or it would go in through AC vents. When I was growing up and saw that, we had like centralized AC and we had the vents in the floor.
Oh no.
So I was always afraid I was going to see that pink ooze start bubbling through the floor, or I'd be like looking at the door jambs of my bedroom doors, like waiting to see the pink ooze come under, bro. There's one shot where like, and this bothered me immensely. There's a woman on a payphone, right? And she's like talking to somebody, and the person on the other end of the line's telling them about what's going on. It's like, it's this thing. It's, if it touches you, it'll eat you, it'll suck you in, and you're gonna be dead. And as she's talking on the phone, you see it start to come down around the payphone, right? Because it's one of those old payphones that like it's enclosed in like the glass container, and it's just like covering the outside, and she doesn't notice it. I don't know how, but she's not even seeing it. And then like she hangs up the phone and turns around, and it's like cracking, and you can see the glass like start to crack, and then it eventually just breaks, and she gets eaten. Dude, that bothered me so much. I don't think I can watch that movie now. I'm a 30-year-old man, and I think I'd probably be shitting bricks if I saw that movie. So based on sheer factor that it has scarred me for life, I have to put it in my top 5. It's got to go at number 3. Yeah.
Fair enough, man. Oh fuck. I feel like so weird for naming this one, because like I don't think I watched, like I said, a lot of found footage. So VHS. I feel like VHS really fucked with my head, because I was expecting that I was going to have one of those VHSs at some point in my life. And it scared the fuck out of me. Luckily, we switched to DVDs, guys. We're all good. We're saved. Saved by the Bell or Saved by Technology upgrades, but
There you go.
you know, VHS really scared the piss out of me. And it like led down this weird path where I started looking a little too deep into dark web stuff. Because I was like, I wasn't curious, but I was more or less like, how do I like find ways to not ever have this happen in my life, basically? You know, stay on the good side of the internet. And so
you had the
that's how I
morbid
learned.
curiosity.
The morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
And it really did fuck me up. I really don't like any of the scenes in that movie. It not in the sense of like I don't like them. It scared the fuck out of me, and that's how I'm going to put it in this category. Is like it still deserves to be here, even though it's not my favorite movie. It just scared the fuck out of me. So,
dude,
we'll leave it at that.
That's a really good pull. VHS is a good one, and it's unsettling. I think for me, if I had to go through like the found footage movies, like the one that I think that stands out to me the most is probably, and it's not even a horror movie, but it's oh dadgummit, what's it called? Man, you could have asked me any other day. It's the one where like they all get superpowers. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Superpowers.
Yeah, it's like a group of friends, and they all get superpowers, and then one of them ends up like going crazy, and like they have to like fight him.
Oh! What is it called? I'm just gonna keep doing that.
Like the grape stomping lady. Superpower found footage.
I don't remember, but that
Chronicle.
was Chronicle. Yes. Oh my god. Fuck. That one was scary.
Dude, yeah.
Like imagine you as like friends just sort of fucking got special powers, and your friend just so happened to get pissed off one day that he fucking like shoved them too hard.
Yeah.
And then all his bones break, and then he's like hospitalized for the rest of his life, right?
Yeah.
Like ugh.
Yeah, it is scary. I will say this though, and this might be a hot take, and people might come for me in the comments on this one. Everybody talks about the Blair Witch Project, right? Which was the first found footage film ever made. And I believe, I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure. Maybe the first found footage like horror film.
It's one of the first critically acclaimed found footage.
Yeah.
I should say that much. Because there were other attempts before this, because I'm big into the found footage area.
Yeah.
There were some before it, for sure, but as far as it being notable, that is the first genuine notable one.
I would, yeah. The thing for me about it is like, well, one, I think it got a lot of acclaim because when it went to theaters, no one knew that it was like not supposed to be real. Like some people like were believing like, oh, this actually happened. This is a found footage thing that's legit. You know?
Oh yeah, like they thought that this was a documentary.
Yes. And that's what got it its acclaim. I don't think it's that good of a film. I think it's incredibly boring.
You just hate me.
I'm sorry. I love you very much.
This is the second day in a row. First
sorry.
it's Thomas, and now this. How dare you?
Man, Thomas the Tank Engine.
Spit on my childhood, why don't you?
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I was watching it, and like I keep looking at my watch expecting something to happen, and like I don't know. I mean, I thought it was tense. I'll give it that. There are tense moments. But like I don't know. I felt like there was never enough payoff for me personally. So, I mean, you can come for me in the comments, and I'd love to hear everybody else's top 5 as well. But I just could not get with that movie, dude. I'm sorry, you're shaking your head at me. I know it's a hot take.
You just hate me because I was about to put that one in the list.
Oh, really?
And now you hate me.
Was that going to be number 1?
It was going to be number 2.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it was going to be number 2. Where were we at?
I believe we were just getting started on number 2.
Number 2, okay.
Which, since you're...
Number 2
Go
happens
ahead.
to be Blair Witch Project.
You know,
damn it.
I'm not a big fan of that movie.
You don't say.
You know,
No, I enjoyed it because there was a lot of like suspense being built up, and there are things that most people won't even recognize about the movie, is that a lot of those, if you get to watch the like director's cut basically of that movie, it will scare the fuck out of you, because a lot of that stuff was genuine reaction. They did not have any idea on the chase scene. They had no idea. They thought it was like a bear basically out in the woods while they were shooting this film. And so that's why they were so fucking scared. And that's why they ran away. That was a genuine reaction. And then the scene at the end, which I'm not going to say, even though, you know, it's an old movie. If you haven't watched it by now, go fucking watch it. Not by Omen's recommendation, but
no, you should definitely see it. It is a landmark film. I will not take that away from it. I understand its importance in cinematic history, and it should be viewed. And
thank you. I appreciate it.
Just, you know, it's kind of boring. So, you know, bring a snack or a Sudoku or something. Like whatever you want.
Oh my God. You hate me. But no, it was pretty good. I think it deserves to be in 2, simply for the fact that it was a before its time. And so yeah, I'm gonna put that at number 2.
Absolutely fair. I would say for me, number 2. Man, again, I feel like we should have had a list of like our favorites and the ones that like scared us the most, you know.
We're gonna be here forever.
I know, that's the only thing. I know, we're already an hour and 20 minutes in. Oh my God. I know, we do this every time.
We're doing it again.
Every time, bro. We're just fucking yappers, bro. But number 2 for me has to be Silence of the Lambs.
Okay. Silence of the Lambs. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
I mean, Anthony Hopkins just
fucking nailed it, bud.
And you know, the thing that I love is that when they were doing that, like the real villain in the movie is Buffalo Bill, right? The guy who's like kidnapping women and like wearing their skins as suits and like they're, you know, goodbye horses. Yes. Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me, you know. I'd fuck me hard, you know. That's what he says, and it's like the strangest thing.
It's my favorite line, because if you said it out of context, would you fuck me? I would fuck me.
It's the last one that really sells it. I'd fuck me hard. But Anthony Hopkins comes in as like this secondary character and just steals the show, man.
Oh yeah.
And he's the one who became the focal point of like the movie, like Red Dragon, and you know, all these sequels, dude. And oh my gosh, it was so good. And I mean, what was the it was that movie, right? I'm not getting it mixed up with Red Dragon, am I? Where he like breaks out of prison by eating the cop's face, and then yes, it is the first one. Yes, it is.
It is the first. Yeah.
Yeah, where like he like rips the cop's face off and puts on the cop uniform, and they think he's the dead officer, and they like wheel him out into the ambulance, and they're like, "What do you mean it's not him?" And like he sits up and like takes the face off, and oh dude, it was it bothered me immensely, and it's such a good film. Man. I have to put it there.
I would say, you know what? I respect that.
Here we come to number 1 on our list.
Number 1, dude. So hard.
That's what she said.
Not like, oh yeah, she did say that actually. I'm surprised. I'm
surprised.
Oh man, number 1. I don't even know how I'm gonna get through this, man, because it's so hard to pick one.
Do you want me to go first? Because I got mine ready.
Full send it, man. Okay. Yeah.
So my number 1, and I've preached this for years and years. Yeah, I think it's a perfect film, which is rare. I don't think there's many of those. But the first Alien movie that Ridley Scott did with Sigourney Weaver and
fuck! Wait, you took my damn it. Yeah. It's fine. No. That is a very, very, very good one. I feel like it holds its own as a staple. If you ever heard horror, Alien, you know.
Oh yeah, and it's that's probably the one exception to the claustrophobic rule, because like you're in outer space, there's no one around for millions of miles. You know, you are by yourself with this thing that is hunting down your crew one at a time, and you can't like shoot it or hurt it because it's got acid for blood, and it'll burn through the spaceship and suck you out into space like a sadistic Hoover vacuum cleaner, right? And that first movie, what I love is that they didn't warn the cast when they were doing like the chest burster scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember. Oh my God. They used to make like genuine films to where it was like focused on like getting a genuine reaction out of someone. And nowadays they're like, all right, he's going to spook you around the corner in about 20 seconds. Get ready. And action.
No, now there's unions and actors have rights.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm kidding. No, the actors genuinely do deserve rights.
Yes, of course. I'm joking. The thing that got me the most was that scene when like that thing pops out of the chest and it just scurries across the table. And then when it's discovered that like it was all part of the plan from the corporation that sent them down there. So there was like political intrigue a little bit. Dude, it's such a good film. And the thing that always gets me about it as far as like it kind of took from the Jaws playbook, where you didn't really see the creature much. Like you would see like little glimpses or part of the leg or like the tail. Or I think the first time you actually see the whole thing like all together is when the one guy is going through the vents and he's got the motion tracker and the thing's getting closer and like you can't tell where it's coming from, but all you can hear is just the beeps getting louder, the whoobim, 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 whoobim. And then the thing that I both love and hate about it is when he turns the camera or the motion tracker and points the flashlight at the alien. The alien appears in full body on camera for a second, but he kind of does like jazz hands, right? It's really weird. Hey,
it's me, guys.
He's like, hey, spirit figures, you know. It's really, let me see if I can find. I'm sure there's.
Welcome to the ship.
He goes full Beetlejuice. It's showtime, you know. Let me hang on real quick. Let me see if I have it. Alien jazz hands.
That's so fucking funny.
There it is. Here, it's a gift. I'm sending it to you in DMs. Hi.
I need a timestamp. Thank you.
Dude, an hour 22. Dude, I love that so much.
Oh my God.
So that kind of took me out of it for a second, but the film's so good. I love that. Ta-da! You know, he's like, surprise!
Surprise!
Yeah, it's giving your coworkers surprise party where they turn off the lights and then flip them on, you know, and everybody screams.
We brought coconut cream pie.
But it turns out he's allergic to coconut. It's like, oh.
Yeah. Oh, well, now I gotta kill you.
More for me. No.
All right. My number one, I do have one.
Yeah.
Since you selfishly took that one. I'm kidding.
My bad. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I actually think that you chose a really good number one. I think my number one's gonna have to be The Shining.
Oh, buddy.
What?
You're gonna be, man.
Do you hate The Shining too?
I don't hate The Shining. I don't.
And welcome to the last episode of the podcast.
Thomas the Tank Engine.
You hate me so much.
Why do you hate...
Okay, no. You know what? I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Can you explain to me why you don't enjoy The Shining?
It's not that I don't enjoy The Shining. It's a good film, and it's spooky. It's scary. You don't know what's real. It's a psychological thriller. It is objectively a good movie.
Okay, so now that we're down with objectivity, how about your subjectivity?
Much like I describe the Blair Witch Project, I was a little bored. I was a little bored during the movie. Hear me out. Hear me out. You're looking at me like I just kicked a puppy. I'm sorry. But it's like
I think kicking a puppy would be less
what,
detrimental.
it's gotta be, hang on, let me look up the runtime for this film. Shining runtime. Bro, it's a 2.5 hour film.
It is a 2.5 hour film.
And I feel like it's a 2.5 hour film that could have been an hour and 50-minute film. Like
okay. I get it. I understand. No, it's okay.
But
I understand.
But here's the thing, like I get what they were going for with the whole like the hotel is a character and it's corrupting, and I like that, and it's spooky, and it did scare me. And as he starts to go loony, and he's like that, I'm not, and Jack Nicholson in that just crushes it, dude. Like, I mean,
he did amazing.
Oh, dude, I think
blew it out of the park.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about why I don't like it. What makes it your favorite horror movie?
I would say it's mostly because I like psychological horrors. They tickle my brain in a specific way, and surprising so, because I have ADHD, so I can't sit for very long. So it was very strange that was the movie that actually was able to keep me encapsulated and enticed enough to be able to want to continue watching it. I feel like it was the fact that I kept feeling like every character started becoming a new character, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Does that make sense? You know, where everyone essentially starts to become more of a primalistic version of themselves.
That's a great way to put it.
And especially the fucking twin sister scene. That was enough to sense like obviously I don't have hair on my arms right now because I shaved, but fucking I could have had goosebumps. You know, fucking it was scary as fuck.
Oh yeah.
And I was not about it, you know.
No.
And then the fucking bathroom scene was something that even learning about it later on, you know, about how like he was method acting the fuck out of that scene. He like was jumping around, he was like grabbing the axe, he was like running around and getting himself hyped up. He walks into that room and he doesn't bat an eye. He swings that axe back and fucking slams it into the door. Like,
yes,
there was intent behind it, and obviously it's a fake, you know, thing,
right?
but,
yeah.
But he still wanted to get into that mindset, and I love that form of method acting. I hope that people take method acting seriously. Don't do it if you are not prepared. Like, genuinely, it is not an easy thing. It is not a thing easy mentally, especially for if you've had ever dealt with mental issue of some sort.
Exactly.
Don't do method acting at all.
Ask your doctor if method acting is right for you. Dude,
but yeah, no, Shining definitely number one.
The thing that I always think about when I think, because that's a Kubrick film if I remember correctly, right? And you're talking about the bathroom scene, and he did method act the shit out of that. But I believe it was that scene in particular that, because Stanley Kubrick was like a perfectionist. And if I remember correctly, that's the scene they had to do like 127 times.
Yes.
Because the reaction was not real enough or something like that.
Yep. And so they waited and they held scene so that way he could get ready, and they didn't even tell her that it was time. And they fucking the first axe head that comes through, that was a genuine reaction.
And
which I'm all about, right? But be a little bit more cautious, you know. Don't traumatize your actresses and actors. That's probably not the best.
Dude, that's what I was about to say. Like Shelley Duvall, who played oh my goodness, what's the name of the character in that film? I can remember the actor's name. I can't remember the character. But she apparently like suffered severe mental like trauma from the experience of filming that movie, if I remember correctly.
Wendy Torrance, and
Wendy
yes,
Torrance.
she did.
Yeah, dude.
She suffered from I believe she had to go and do therapy consistently for like over 2 years.
Yeah, something like
If I
that.
remember correct. It was crazy. And genuinely, like I said, don't do that shit. Like if you want a genuine reaction, trust in your actors and actresses that you hired. You literally hired them to do this job. And if you're not feeling as if it's realistic enough, give them incentives, or something, or even like help them out with forms of acting. I know that you hired them, but like you still got to get the fucking movie out,
That's the thing that I think is really crazy. What some of these actors and actresses, I guess they're all actors now, go through when it comes to like, especially in horror films. There's so much intense physical activity that you've got to do, just to film some of these death scenes. And actually, going back for a second, because we probably should wrap up here in a minute. We're at an hour 30.
Sure.
That scene I was talking about in Terrifier, where like they were hanging the one girl upside down and they saw her in half. The guy who plays Art the Clown, I think his name's like David Howard Thornton or something very similar to that. He was talking about that scene, and the actor who I'm trying to remember the name of the character, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Like she's like naked and suspended upside down for this entire scene.
Oh
right?
yeah.
And he was like talking about it. He was like, she was a trooper, like because you can only apparently there's a rule for actors, you cannot be suspended upside down for more than 30 seconds, and they have to cut and bring you up, and
yes.
And he like it took them 12 hours, and they were like in a warehouse in Chicago, and it was cold, and,
fuck.
And he was like, she never complained like once, and she was so down to do it, and she was like, no, just get the shot, like don't worry about it, just do what you need to do. And he was like, she wanted to really be part of this because she saw that it was going to kind of redefine the genre of like slasher films. And I think that's really cool when you see these actors go above and beyond and really like be into what they're doing for the work and not just like cashing a check, I think that's really cool. But before we end, is there any movies that you feel like deserve honorable mention or need to be addressed?
I mean, I'm gonna say it, and this is gonna be a controversial take. I actually enjoyed the Paranormal Activity series because I like watching ghost footage. I feel like it's so cool and it's so interesting, and I'll even fucking watch like YouTubers who do that kind of shit. Obviously I try to avoid the ones where they have like really high production, because it looks too staged. But like you're looking too staged. I want more of like that found footage kind of shit where they're sitting there in a fucking in a house or something, or like a prison, and they're just holding like one of those little ghost boxes and stuff. I actually really enjoy those. I feel like those are super cool, and even if they're real or fake, I don't care. I find it enjoyable.
Dude, I'm the same way. I enjoyed those films. I enjoyed the first two. After that, they started to get a little okay, but
they started going down this rabbit hole of like, oh, it's all connected. And I'm like, no, it's not. Just leave it at single instances. Please, thank you.
Yeah, and they're just like, oh, look, give us money. This is poorly written, but you liked the first couple of them, so by the name alone, you'll come back and give us more money, and that's where I feel like some of these franchises start to fall apart. And dude, that's a really good pull, though. I really enjoyed the first couple of those, and I'm the same way. There's a YouTuber by the name of Nuke Norway. Have you seen him?
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
He does like these top 5 or top 10s of like spooky, scary found footage that's allegedly real, and he's like very much the skeptic to be like, yeah, this is one of the videos I was sent in, but if you look here, like this doesn't really make sense. So he's not like.
I have watched him. Yes, I love those.
Yeah,
those are some of my favorite videos to watch on YouTube.
Yeah, and he's like not trying to pull the wool over your eyes. He's like, this one's kind of bullshit, but it's kind of it's kind of cool to see like what someone can do with editing and things like that. But yeah, no, I love those videos. I would say if there's one that deserves a bit of extra recognition, I feel like it's actually getting a ton of recognition this year because it's kind of become a meme and a viral thing. But the first Scream movie, dude,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
it is such a good film, and I love how meta it is and how it takes the genre and kind of pokes fun at it while also making a really solid movie.
Oh
And
yeah.
and if you want to talk about films that ended up like turning into a franchise that kind of was not that great, that's
Hmm.
a good one too. Because the second one was okay, kind of convoluted. Third one,
Hmm.
trash, really not good. Fourth one, little better. Fifth one, kind of about the same. Sixth one, garbage. Like it's
You know what's so funny about that? I
hmm,
call it the Iron Man paradox.
okay.
The first Iron Man was so solid
Mhm.
that nothing could ever compare to it. That's why the second one was trash. And
Mhm.
then everyone decided that it was going to be trash. And then the third one was more of a redemption one where it was like, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. You
Yeah.
know, and it brings them back into the whole universe that they're trying to elaborate on. And I'm like, I get it. You should have probably just left it to be the third one,
Mhm.
and not done the second one. The second one was kind of shit.
Yeah.
uh
I want
but
my
yeah,
bond.
but yeah, I call that the Iron Man paradox.
That's a very good way of putting it, and it feels like, especially in horror movies in general, the further you get into the sequels, they just kind of run out of ideas, and then it just becomes kind of ludicrous stuff. The worst of this probably has to be the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Like
Oh yeah.
the first
Mm-hmm.
two were pretty solid, grounded, scary films. Then after that,
Mm-hmm.
they just get wacky. They get cartoony, kind of campy. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so those kind of bothered me the later on they got. I think the worst perpetrator of all was the Friday the 13th series. There's 8 of those, okay? And
Okay.
then after 8, they're like, you know what? Also, once they got past like 6, they're bad.
They're
But then
bad.
you get past the 8th one, the next one isn't called Friday the 13th. It's called Jason Goes
Mhm.
to Hell. And this is how far out they went. Cuz they start the film where Jason gets blown up by like a tank, right?
What the fuck?
Cuz they're like, Jason's been terrorizing Crystal Lake for decades and killed so many people. We're just going to send the military in and they're going to explode him, right? And that's exactly what happens in the first 5 minutes. They like stage like a camper like showering, you know, and she like
What?
yeah, and she like runs out the front door, and Jason's like walking behind her, and then they like turn on these floodlights, and it's just tanks and guys with M60s, you know, and they just rip him to shreds. But oh yeah, it gets even worse because at that point, like a slug thing crawls out of Jason's body. That's supposed to be like the evil that is Jason, and
Hmm.
it just like goes into different people and then they become Jason throughout the film. Like the coroner becomes Jason, like he's looking at the body and he's the first one to like get attacked by the slug, and like he's like stabbing other members of the of like the
What
morgue.
the
Dude,
fuck?
it was convoluted. And then you get to, did you ever see Jason X?
No, but I heard
Oh,
about it.
strap in, dude. So this one, we start off with like Jason is fighting somebody and they both get cryogenically frozen. I forget how it happens. I don't
How
know.
do you? I
I'm,
feel like you have to prep that ahead of time.
You-
I'm not gonna lie.
You're missing some steps from attacking somebody near a campground to getting cryogenically frozen, but that's what happens. And then the main protagonist gets thawed out like with Jason like 1,000 years in the future or something.
What?
Yes, it gets even crazier. And like the Earth is no longer habitable. It's like these people in spacesuits that are coming down to like dig for artifacts or whatever. So they take Jason and this the protagonist up to this spaceship, right?
Mhm.
And the entire movie is him killing people on a spaceship. It's like Jason meets Star Trek. it gets even worse because there's this weird like love dynamic between this person who builds an android and that android falls in love with him. And
With
it's like,
Jason?
no, like with her creator.
Oh, okay.
And then like at the end of the film, excuse me, at the end of the film, Jason is, like getting murked. Oh, and it's clarified earlier in the film that there's like these nanites that can heal like wounds. Like one person gets their arm chopped off and they use these nanites to put the arm back on. And at the end of the film, the android wearing like a full dominatrix getup just like kung fu flips into the scene and just blows Jason to pieces. Right? But in blowing him to pieces, he crashes into the nanites.
Uh-huh.
And then they like reassemble him as like what is lovingly referred to in the Friday the 13th fans as Uber Jason.
Uber Jason.
And he's got like red eyes and he looks like who's the bad guy from the Power Rangers? Was it like not Zod, but
Megazord?
like no, he like wore this mask and he had a staff that had a big Z on it. The heck was his name? But that's exactly who he looked like. It's like Zurg or something. The heck is his name? No, Zurg
Lord
was
Zed?
Lord Zed. That's who it was. He looked just like Lord Zed.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm
And-
looking at pictures right now.
Oh yeah, it's like Lord Zed mixed with the Shredder from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was what this dude
What
looked
the
like.
fuck?
Like these movies just got so out there. But anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about as far as like just how crazy these franchises got because they ran out of ideas but wanted to keep pumping out the money, But anyway, is there anything that you would like to add before we wrap this spooky special edition episode of the podcast?
Yeah. So we'll kind of end this off with a slightly somber note if you're cool with that.
Yeah, man, of course.
So I just want to say, like, if it wasn't for everything that we do here, and my friends and things like that, I don't know where I'd be in life. And I'm really happy to have you guys, and I'm really happy to have you guys listening along as well. You guys are the reason why we keep doing this. Well, we do it regardless of whether you guys listen or not.
Yeah.
We really just are yappers, and we're like, we need an outlet.
We just turn the cameras on and then just talk like normal. That's pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. We just thought fucking just start sending it. But yeah,
sources.
no, if it wasn't for you guys, really enjoying and everything, it's something special. And I'm really happy to be able to do this, not only with you guys that are listening, but also you, Omen. It is a pleasure, man.
Same, dude. And I look forward to this every time we go to do it. And yeah, it's definitely a privilege to be able to spend this time both with you and our loving audience. But yeah, man.
That's all I had to say. I promise.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
But yeah, go ahead.
No, that's just all I was gonna say. It's just I'm really, glad that we get to do this, and I'm excited to. It's taken a little while to get them set up, but in time for the next podcast, we will have my father on the podcast as well to tell some stories and talk about some things that he experienced when he was a young lad. We'll get some.
I can't wait, man.
We'll get some of the gather around the campfire and let me regale you with stories of yesteryear, But that's all from me and Obi as we wrap this episode of the podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Peace.